Order a hot dog and you get a sausage, bun, maybe ketchup. But the rest of the world lost its mind. Quail eggs, shrimp salad, neon red sausages. These are some of the world's weirdest hot dogs, and the first one buries its sausage so deep you might not even find it. Colombia's perro caliente. This hot dog disappears the moment the toppings start. Colombian vendors begin with a boiled beef sausage, then bury it. Crushed potato chips, garlic mayo, pink sauce. Mayo mixed with ketchup. A drizzle of sweet pineapple sauce. Shredded cheese, coleslaw, mustard, and up to 3 hard-boiled quail eggs stacked on top. Atlas Obscura once wrote that the pile gets so tall, you might forget there's even a hot dog under it. Some vendors simmer the sausage in Coca-Cola and water for extra sweetness, which sounds like a bad idea and somehow isn't. It sounds like a disaster until you taste it. Creamy, then tangy, then sweet, then crunchy, in one bite, with that pineapple sauce landing as the part nobody sees coming. In Medellin and Bogota stands Stay Lit past midnight, packed with people stumbling out of clubs craving something sweet, crunchy, and salty at once, lines stretching for blocks on weekends. Head south, and the sausage disappears under something else entirely: avocado, Chile's Completo. Chile didn't put avocado on their hot dog, they buried it in avocado. The Completo is roughly twice the size of an American hot dog, and it disappears under chopped tomato, sauerkraut, a mountain of mashed avocado, and a layer of mayo so thick it sits on top like white frosting. That's not an exaggeration. Chile has one of the highest mayonnaise consumption rates in Latin America. You could ice a cake with what's on this thing. The dish is often credited to Eduardo Bahamondes, who opened a quick lunch spot in Santiago around 1920 after a trip to the US. Chileans rejected the plain ketchup and mustard dog he brought back, so he loaded it with local flavors instead. The most popular version, the Italiano, has nothing to do with Italian food. The red tomato, white mayo, and green avocado just happen to match the Italian flag. It's a $2 hot dog that somehow earned its own national holiday, Completo Day, every May 24th. Brazil took that same idea and made it heavier. Brazil's cachorro quente. Brazil's hot dog needs a fork. The sausage simmers in a thick tomato and onion sauce, then gets tucked into a bun already smeared with mashed potato on the inside, only there to soak up the juice. On top, corn, peas, grated parmesan, diced tomato, ground beef, sometimes quail eggs, and the ingredient that makes it unmistakably Brazilian: a giant handful of batata palha, crispy shoestring potato sticks piled over the whole thing. A hot dog you eat with silverware. Somehow, in Sao Paulo, this becomes a fork and knife situation, a 3 a.m. staple after bar hopping, and a fixture at every kid's birthday party, where the kids fight over the batata palha. Brazilians eat them by the millions every weekend, and street carts called barracas park outside every soccer stadium on game day. Good luck eating one without making a mess. Argentina wasn't interested in any of it. No bun rules, no ketchup, not even the word hot dog. Argentina's choripan. The choripan isn't really a hot dog at all. It's a butterflied chorizo sausage, made from pork or a pork-beef blend, grilled over open coals until the skin crisps, then split down the middle and slapped into a crusty French-style roll. The name is just chorizo and bread. On top, chimichurri, a sharp green sauce of chopped parsley, oregano, garlic, vinegar, and olive oil. And fair warning, it will end up on your shirt. Choripan traces back to 19th century gauchos, the Argentine cowboys who grilled chorizo over open fires on the pampas. And today, every asado, the famous Argentine barbecue, opens with one. Vendors sell them outside every football stadium in Buenos Aires, and Cordoba even hosts an annual Choripan World Cup, because apparently, a hot dog this good needed a trophy. North of the border, someone decided the sausage needed bacon. Mexico's Sonoran dog. The sausage doesn't get near a bun here until it's wrapped head to toe in bacon, as if a regular hot dog wasn't unhealthy enough already. The Sonoran dog started in Hermosillo, the capital of Mexico's Sonora state, in the late 1980s, though some food historians trace its roots back to 1940s baseball games and traveling circuses. A regular hot dog gets fully wrapped in bacon, grilled flat until the bacon crisps and seals to the sausage, then loaded into a soft boat-shaped bolillo bun, a slightly sweet milk-based Mexican roll. On top, pinto beans, grilled onions, raw onions, diced tomatoes, mayo, mustard, and a wash of jalapeno salsa with a roasted guero chile, blistered yellow-green from cooking in the leftover bacon fat sitting on the side. Street vendors selling these are called dogueros, and Tucson alone has hundreds of them. The most famous spot, El Güero Canelo, was opened by Sonoran immigrant Daniel Contreras in 1993 and won a James Beard America's Classics Award in 2018, a long way from a nickname that started as a joke about his fair skin and red hair. 10,000 kilometers away, a Japanese couple in Vancouver rebuilt the hot dog around sushi logic, Canada's Japadog. Vancouver's hot dog cart started as a crepe stand that never sold a single crepe. In 2005, Japanese ad executive Noriki Tamura and his wife Misa moved from Tokyo to Vancouver planning to sell crepes from a street cart. Vancouver's bylaws only allowed hot dogs, so they pivoted, rejected crepes, accepted destiny, and started putting Japanese flavors on buns instead, opening their first stand at the corner of Burrard and Smythe. Their signature, the teramayo, is topped with teriyaki sauce, Japanese Kewpie mayo, shredded nori, and crispy fried onions. Other versions use kurabuta pork or Wagyu-style beef, topped with bonito flakes that curl and dance from the steam. The oroshi gets grated daikon radish with soy sauce. The negimiso uses sweet miso paste with green onion. The 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics put the cart on the map worldwide, with lines stretching half a block. Anthony Bourdain ate one on camera, and Ice Cube is reportedly a fan, proof that a permit rejection turned into a stand that somehow ended up feeding celebrities. South Korea skipped the toppings entirely and rebuilt the batter from scratch. South Korea's corn dog. Forget everything you know about corn dogs. Korea rebuilt the entire concept from scratch. Instead of cornmeal batter, Koreans use a chewy yeasted dough, often stuffing half hot dog and half mozzarella onto a single stick. The most popular version, the gamja, gets coated in tiny cubes of raw potato that fry into crispy little fries clinging to the outside. Other versions roll in crushed ramen, rice puffs, or even squid ink crumbs before the whole thing gets deep fried golden. Then comes the part that throws Americans off. The entire stick gets dusted with sugar before a drizzle of ketchup and mustard on top. Sugar and ketchup on the same stick. It works. Don't ask how. The cheese pull stretches 6 to 12 inches, which turned it into a TikTok sensation around 2019 and helped chains like Kong Dog explode across the US. Even though Korean street markets in Busan and Seoul had already been selling these for decades, long before the rest of the world ever saw a single video of one. The Philippines went further into a color that shouldn't exist: neon. Philippines is Filipino hot dog. The Filipino hot dog is dyed a shade of red that doesn't exist in nature. Made mostly from pork, these dogs snap juicily and get sautéed in garlic oil before landing on a plate with the strangest condiment on this list: banana ketchup, mashed bananas, sugar, vinegar, and spices, dyed red to mimic the real thing. It sounds like a prank. It isn't. It was invented during World War II by Filipina food scientist Maria Y. Orosa after a tomato shortage hit the Philippines. Orosa did more than science. She also served as a captain in Markings guerrillas fighting the Japanese occupation and died on February 13, 1945, when the Manila hospital treating her shrapnel wounds was bombed during the Battle of Manila. The first commercial banana ketchup hit shelves in 1942 under the brand Mafran, founded by Magdalo Francisco Sr. Today, the Filipino hot dog gets topped with banana ketchup, sautéed onions, crispy garlic, and sometimes achara, pickled green papaya, and gets chopped into the sweet Filipino spaghetti that Jollibee made famous worldwide, the same red dye now feeding one of the biggest fast food chains on earth. Australia ditched the topping war and changed the cooking method instead. Australia's Dagwood Dog. This one isn't named after a place at all. It's named after a comic strip character. The Dagwood Dog is Australia's corn dog, a frankfurter or saveloy on a stick, dunked in a thick sweet batter, then deep fried and finished with a squirt of tomato sauce, what Aussies call ketchup. The name comes from Dagwood Bumstead, the sandwich-obsessed husband from the 1930s comic strip Blondie. Some states call the same dish a Pluto pup instead, after the Disney cartoon dog. In 1949, a Sydney court case even saw a couple with exclusive Pronto pup rights try to ban competitors from selling Dagwood dogs at the Royal Easter Show. A legal fight over a snack named after a comic strip. Iceland went straight for the one ingredient nobody else had touched: the sausage itself. Iceland's pylsur. Here, the sausage itself is the surprise. Mostly lamb, not pork or beef. Icelandic lamb, blended with pork and beef, gives the pylsur a richer, gamier flavor than any pork dog. Order it eina með olu, one with everything, and you get raw onions, crispy fried onions, ketchup sweetened with apples instead of corn syrup, sweet brown mustard called pylsus inep, and remoulade, a creamy mayo-based sauce with capers and herbs. The most famous stand, Bæjarins bestu pylsur, the town's best hot dogs, has been running near the Reykjavik harbor since 1937. In August 2004, former U.S. President Bill Clinton walked past during a UNICEF visit, and an employee named Maya offered him one, a president, on a diet, ordering the one topping that wouldn't blow it. Relatable. He ordered it with just mustard, and ever since, a mustard-only hot dog has been called a Clinton. He later said they were the best in the world, and Clinton isn't even the most famous name on the guest list. James Hetfield of Metallica, Charlie Sheen, and Kim Kardashian have all shown up too. Iceland's lamb obsession has nothing on what comes next. Denmark's Ristet hot dog. Denmark treats hot dogs about as seriously as New York treats pizza. A grilled pork sausage goes into a bun med de hele with everything: ketchup, mustard, curried remoulade, raw and crispy fried onions, and sweet sour pickled cucumber. The signature version uses rodpulse, a sausage dyed shocking bright red, originally a way for butchers to disguise day-old meat, a dye that stuck around long after refrigeration solved the problem. Denmark's first hot dog cart started rolling through Copenhagen on January 18, 1921, and today, Danes eat over 100 million red sausages a year. Denmark is not remotely shy about this, often washed down with a chocolate milk called Kotio. Germany's entry on this list happened completely by accident. Germany's currywurst. Currywurst exists because a German woman traded with British soldiers for the two ingredients Germany didn't have. On September 4, 1949, in post-war West Berlin, Herta Heuver ran a tiny snack stand at the corner of Kantstrasse and Kaiser Friedrichstrasse. She traded with British soldiers for ketchup and curry powder, nearly impossible to find in bombed-out Germany, mixed them with spices, and poured the sauce over a sliced grilled pork sausage. The dish took off with construction workers rebuilding the city, who loved that it was cheap, filling, and full of protein. They called it the steak of the common man. At its peak, Heuer's stand sold 10,000 servings a week. She trademarked the sauce as chillup, chili plus ketchup, and refused to share the recipe with anyone, not even her husband. Spite, dedication, or both, depending who you ask. It died with her in 1999. The Deutsches Currywurst Museum estimates Germans eat around 800 million currywursts a year, 70 million in Berlin alone, and in 2019, the Berlin State Mint even released a commemorative currywurst medal with Heuer's face on it, a bigger honor than most inventors get for a recipe they took to their grave. Sweden's version breaks a rule nobody thought to write down: no seafood on a hot dog. Sweden's tunnbrödsrulle. Sweden wraps its hot dog like a burrito and fills it with shrimp salad. On paper, that sounds like a war crime. In practice, it's excellent. Vendors lay 2 grilled pork and beef hot dogs on a buttered, thin flatbread called tunnbröd, then pile on mashed potatoes, a creamy shrimp salad called skagenröra, crispy fried onions, raw onions, ketchup, and mustard, and roll the whole thing up tight. The instant mashed potatoes are traditional, not a shortcut, which breaks American brains the moment you explain it. It's often credited to Stockholm vendor Elof Lof Bratfors, who started selling it at his Lof's Grill in 1962. And it's still the universal post-concert, post-club, post-anything snack across Stockholm and Gothenburg. Anthony Bourdain tried one on No Reservations during the Sweden episode that aired in April 2006, calling it one of the best things he'd ever eaten, and in the same breath, kind of horrifying, and loving it anyway. Hawaii skipped every idea above and started from a tropical blank slate. Hawaii's puka dog. There's no slicing involved here. A heated metal spike drills straight through the bun instead. The puka dog started in August 2000 in the town of Poipu. Somebody looked at a perfectly good bun and thought, needs a hole. Vendors toast a Hawaiian sweet bread roll on that spike, boring a hole, a puka, straight through the center, then slide a Polish sausage inside. On top, a squirt of garlic lemon secret sauce in 4 heat levels: mild, spicy, hot, and lava, a smear of anti-lilikoi passion fruit mustard, and a tropical fruit relish in flavors like mango, pineapple, papaya, coconut, banana, or starfruit, depending on the stand. The relishes are jammy and see-through rather than chunky, almost like fruit jam smeared over the sausage. The most popular order is the Mango Kauai Special. Travel Channel and Food Network have both filmed here, and an offshoot called Hula Dog has since spread the format to Oahu. Not bad for a bun with a hole drilled through it. Back on the mainland, one city turned its hot dog into an unofficial legal code. Chicago's Chicago Dog. Ask for ketchup on this hot dog and some vendors will genuinely refuse. The classic Chicago Dog is an all-beef Vienna beef sausage on a steamed poppy seed bun, dragged through the garden. Yellow mustard, neon green sweet relish, chopped white onion, tomato wedges, a dill pickle spear, pickled sport peppers, and a dash of celery salt. Ketchup is banned by unspoken consensus, and old-school vendors have been known to refuse it outright. It's a condiment. It should not require this much conviction. Vienna beef itself dates back to 1893 when Austro-Hungarian immigrants Emil Reichel and Sam Ladany started selling sausages at the World's Colombian Exposition in Chicago. The fully loaded version took shape during the Great Depression, when vendors like Fluky's, opened by Abe Fluky Drexler, in 1929, piled on cheap toppings to make a 5-cent hot dog feel like a full meal. The poppy seed bun and sport peppers followed, cementing the format by the 1940s. And nearly a century later, the one rule that never changed is still the ketchup ban. One state over, the fight isn't about ketchup, it's about coleslaw. West Virginia's Slaw Dog. One U.S. state has an actual dividing line on the map over whether coleslaw belongs on a hot dog. A West Virginia hot dog with everything means a wiener piled with yellow mustard, a wet, beanless beef chili, locals call sauce, never chili, diced raw onions, and the part that splits the state, sweet creamy coleslaw right on top. The combo traces back to early 20th century drive-ins like the Stopette near Charleston, and became a Depression-era staple because cabbage and wieners were both dirt cheap. Coleslaw on a hot dog sounds like a crime against one food or the other. Half the state disagrees. West Virginia has hundreds of hot dog spots statewide and an unofficial slaw line dividing it in half. South of the line, slaw is mandatory. North of it, where Italian immigration shaped the food culture, locals often skip it entirely. The line is real enough that the West Virginia Hot Dog blog has been mapping it since 2006. The first bite slaps spicy chili against cold sweet slaw against tangy mustard. The contrast is the whole point. Half the state will fight you over whether the slaw belongs on top or in a side cup, and that obsession is what every single hot dog on this list is really about. One weenie with infinite possibilities. That's the kind of obsession only food can create. If this fed your curiosity, hit subscribe. More wild food stories like this one are coming your way.